Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to more Adventures in Arcane Space. Just as a note, since the last time I streamed, Twitch has rolled out subscriptions to affiliates, so those of you who wish to subscribe, or those with Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. There should be a button in the upper right-hand corner above the video that lets you subscribe if you so desire. I'll have to get some like little bits of artwork and stuff like that for that eventually, but those of you who wish to do so can now do so, and I would very much thank anyone who does. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive right back in. It is, I believe, dawning on day 4. And there was some talk about possibly getting underway, but it sounded like you guys might have, afterwards, in some other discussions, come up with some other ideas that you might have wanted to do on Brawl. So I'm not sure if that, how you guys have decided to, what you guys have decided to do. So let's go ahead and just discuss it.
Braxon, you had a bunch of ideas there. Was there anything actionable in that?
Yeah, I was just wondering if we could get any sort of specialist weapons. I know we can get caltrops. Well, we can try to get caltrops.
I can get some. I have some. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm thinking there must be little things that the fighters can use which have the equivalent effect of a magical spell. In like caltrops, you can, if we need to retreat, the fighters might stay behind till last to give the finger wagglers time to leave, and then we could throw down caltrops to stop people chasing after us. I was thinking there might be other things like this. There might be things that would work against a Scavver that might also work against other critters.
Possibly. I was thinking of maybe like some sort of big bomb thing, but that'd be a lot of smoke powder.
A big bomb.
Yeah, a bomb to make it eat a bomb and then blow it up on the inside. But
we did have that bomb before. That was quite effective.
That was oil of fiery burning.
That was oil of fire burning. That's a bit different.
But if you wanna check around the shops, I can roll to see if one of them has some of that in stock.
Yeah,
it's a
that
type
might be
of alchemical potion, I think it was, right? Like alchemist fire, but on a much. It's basically a fireball in a made with alchemy.
Well, there is Greek fire that you can get. It's a liquid that upon contact with the air becomes very flammable. You can a lot of quote unquote bombs would be mixed with Greek fire and smoke powder, reducing the need for smoke powder and creating a bigger explosion kind of thing than you might expect.
Oh god, that reminds me of a custom thing that somebody came up with in a different campaign called Holy Hand Grenade. It was like holy,
I wonder where that came from.
Water mixed with sacred earth. It was basically a fucking anti-undead bomb thing.
Something also that was mentioned earlier in our chats was visiting the people that actually hunt those. What are these things called again?
Scavvers.
That was all
Scavvers. Yeah.
It was actually, he was suggesting things that people who hunt much bigger creatures than normal Scavvers.
Yeah, Kindori, the space whales. There might be things that you could, draw from them, since those are very large fish-like creatures, and a giant Scavver would be a very large fish-like creature.
What do you think about that, Braxon?
Sounds good to me. I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask. Might cost us a pint of beer.
Leva wants to figure out what sort of animal is in the warehouse, and why that house actually needs that type of animal in the warehouse. and she's been thinking. She talks to Yeldin about this and asks him whether he could recognize an animal by a description. Could you?
I don't know many of these space creatures as I do land creatures in the forest.
Yes, but this may not be a creature because it may, since it's inside the warehouse, and it looks like it's part of the security. It may not be a space creature at all. In fact, it's more probable to be a land creature.
Well, the thing is,
right. She's right. You're our expert.
Possible, but I might recognize it. I might not. From what I've heard, it's probably more like a wizard creature of some variety that was created.
Well, no hurt in trying to figure it out.
But I don't see what this has to do with anything that we're doing right now, either. What our current goal is.
What I'm wondering, that thing made, that description of the sounds it was making, was that similar to the descriptions of the sounds that those sailors were talking about?
No. From the description that Elevy gave you, and the description of from the sailors, I mean, it's certainly possible since you're getting all of this very secondhand, but really sounds like there's no similarity at all.
Okay. I was just thinking of that cracking sound, and then maybe like the cracking sound of like the wood. I don't know.
Well, from what my understanding, it could have been claws against the stone, because the warehouses have stone floors, right?
Elevy's familiar would have recognized the sound of claws on stone, and would have conveyed that.
Okay.
Well, by the way, the connection that could exist is if that house, which house was it? If that house was doing, what's it called? An insurance.
Yeah, it was House Torlin. If they were doing, if House Torlin is involved in this somehow, i.e., if it's not an actual, just a random giant monster out there eating ships, then there could be documentary evidence there.
Yes, and it would be in our interest to figure that out before we actually go out.
Yeah.
At least I think so. Leva thinks so. And her preferred way would be to confront the people from the house with it. But for that, she'd need more information about the animal. The description you gave us sounded to me like something on stilts. Something heavy on stilts.
Well, I never described what the creature looked like. I was only describing the sound.
Yes.
Never got sight of it.
But if Yeldin, thinks really hard and gives me an intelligence check with a massive penalty, then he might have heard something about creatures of this nature.
All right, let's roll a d20. 5.
Unfortunately, not quite enough. I was looking for a 1 or a 2.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, because my intelligence is 12, so.
It's not anything that
like,
you think you've heard of.
That might be something, but he can't put his finger on it.
Yeah, it was like a little tweak in the back of your mind. The sharp sounds, cracking sounds. It seems like it might be something, but that's about it.
Yeah, if I actually heard it, I might actually know some. If I actually didn't hear it second hear
Yeah,
about it
secondhand.
secondhand. I might actually know.
Yeah, if you heard it, then I would allow you another intelligence roll with a less of a penalty.
So Leva looks at Yeldin and says, "Would you be prepared to come? Lafdul, would you be able to make 2 disguises for us? Would you be prepared to do that?" And before I ask them, I check whether Ockar is around or not.
I guess we're all meeting up. I would be there.
You would have just pulled us aside and we'd just be talking about.
Yes.
I could try to identify the sound, but I have no guarantees that I'll be able to.
No, but you still might be useful in other ways.
Yes. Shall we do it
I'm
tonight?
not very good at hiding inside cityscape, so don't get your hopes up on that.
No, but you could put your ear onto the hole that Tayan the Familiar is using to get in, and maybe you'll hear it.
Just don't wear your armor, you'll be fine.
Do you ever have animal empathy automatically, or is there a non-weapon for a ranger?
It's a ranger. There's a ranger thing about it. Yeah, I'll have to look at it again.
Is that only native to what your ranging grounds, I suppose?
It's only normal creatures.
There's some things about
How about this? While you guys are doing that,
ranger
Ockar
ability,
and maybe Big Mac can
animal
come with me
empathy.
to go check up on those hunters, those whaling hunters.
Okay.
That sounds
Yeah,
good.
you mean Braxon?
Braxon, is that what I said?
Yeah, you called me Big Mac,
Oh, oops,
Which
my
is-
bad.
which is my name, but
I was looking right at your profile pic. So.
yeah.
Okay, so here's some of the restrictions. One, they have to be natural animals. They must be intelligent, but not exceptionally intelligent. The animal can't be my enemy species. The ranger must remain calm. The ranger must be distanced away from the rest of the party. The animal must be able to see and hear the ranger. The ranger must soothe the animal for an uninterrupted period. Those are the restrictions on animal empathy.
Well, my main concern was just whether or not the actual species cross barrier, whatever, his natural terrain.
We happily give you some time alone, but I don't think you'd want it.
Oh dear.
And
I'm just kind of looking up the animal. I don't. It doesn't say anything about
It's in
intelligence,
the-
actually.
Complete Ranger's Handbook, Chapter 2, Ranger Abilities, Animal Empathy. Much more complete thing than Player Handbook.
Yeah, it's probably that intelligence thing might mean that it doesn't work on things that are non-intelligent, i.e. 0. All right, so that might be what it is.
Anything that has a 0 intelligence is literally dead.
No, there
As a
are.
rule of, here we go. It says,
Oof.
as a rule of thumb, Ranger can use the ability on natural animals whose intelligence ranges from animal to low. Intelligence scores 1 to 7.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it wouldn't work on things with 0 intelligence, and there are things with 0 intelligence, like slimes and some puddings and certain
Well,
insects
those
and
are
stuff like that.
that's also a supernatural creature.
Well, some of that depends on campaign world and stuff like that, but the point is that there are things with 0 intelligence, including insects. So that's a good
Magical creatures
that's a good rule of thumb there, though. All right.
can be affected, or extraplanar origin.
Yeah.
what does that mean for the current case? Does that mean it won't work, or does that mean it could work, or what does it mean?
It
It
depends
could work
entirely
depending
on
on if the creature is a natural animal. There's the real point in the... But the likelihood it's a magical creature.
Well,
find
you don't
out.
know unless you try.
Well, okay, let's try. Are you prepared to try?
Yeah, I'll make a discuss if he wants to come along.
Well, do you guys want to do this during the day, or do you want to wait until
No.
night time again?
No, in the
Night.
evening, night, because
We'll let the...
I'm sure a human being, or even in disguise, kneeling beside the hole on the side of the warehouse is not suspicious at all during the day.
No, perfectly no. I'll disguise him as a craftsman.
Oh, wait. Give him a box to be under. Play Metal Gear.
Metal Gear Solid stuff.
We're not doing freaking Metal Gear here. That won't work.
We'll have a box check.
Are you proposing to deliver Yeldin to the warehouse in a barrel?
Now that's an idea.
That's an idea. How would we do that?
No.
What crazy shenanigans are you putting together?
We'll poke holes. We'll poke holes in it.
You mean you'll drill holes in it? Because you can't really poke holes in wood.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
How are we going to get him in legitimately?
You're convinced by this idea.
The barrel plan sounds like your best option at the moment.
Well, the next best thing I was thinking of, it was actually during the day that he is sitting beside the hole, and when somebody comes and asks, he says, "Look, there's a hole. I'm fixing it."
What?
You'd
no.
have to have fast talk or something. You'd have to be able to persuade them. Non-weapon proficiency.
What would we need for that?
I'm not good with people.
If Ockar wasn't a paladin, he could do it. Because he's got that crazy charisma.
For law reasons, if I were to disguise someone and that person had like the equivalent of a fast talk, then they could probably pull that off. But with only a disguise, it wouldn't work.
Yep.
Or either that, or you need intimate knowledge of said trade guild, which we do have someone who does have carpentry.
Yeah, but it's not me.
Keep in mind also that if the people who come across you know about, are working in the building or something like that, they would know if they had hired someone to fix something on the building.
I'm not so certain about that. Have a look at real life. How many people just open the door because someone says, "UPC, I have a delivery for you." FedEx.
That's true, but you do also remember from your familiar's excursion that there was one person there that night.
Correct.
It's a lot easier to know when there's just one person.
And plus, we don't know what's happened since that last night. You know.
There is that.
What actually? I just fell off, and what did I just land on the ground or what?
Yeah, you woke the guy up.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, did I fall in some trash, leave mess, or what?
No, you just made a lot of noise. There wasn't a large
You
amount of
heard it.
trash there.
So I
You
landed on my face and yelled out, "Ow!"
Well, I mean, you made whatever sounds you wanted to make, but the big thing is that you made a lot of noise.
Is he healthy again?
Yeah, he healed himself
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Joys of magic. Yeah, I don't have to take like a month off or whatever it would take.
Anyways,
Well, I mean, if you want to come
I'm
up with...
willing to wait till nightfall and listen to see if I can identify the creature through its sounds by listening.
But we still got the other group that want to do with their whaling thing, so
Yeah.
I guess we'll move on to that.
All right, so that's going to be Ockar, Higgimus, and Braxon.
Yes.
Okay. You find the relatively small Whalers Guild on Brawl. It's not too difficult to find. A lot of the whaling happens, is based out of the asteroids, but there is some that leaves from Brawl and brings their, their what would you call it? The the whale blubber and meat and everything like that directly back to Brawl. Not sure exactly what the proper term would be for that, since it's not fishing. But they have
Hunting.
it's whaling, but what would be the? It doesn't matter. You find the guild. They've got a small office with kind of a crusty old sailor who looks like he's probably retired now due to some injuries. Sitting behind a desk. He looks up at you when you enter. Hi, yes, what can I do for you? The Royal Whaling Guild of Brawl here.
We would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. You looking to purchase some meat or oil?
What exactly are we supposed to be asking him again?
We were actually coming here to ask for some advice.
Oh, advice on whaling? Oh, well, you come to the right place. Have a seat. There's a couple
Thank you.
chairs in front
I'm
of
sure
his
you've
desk.
heard about the rumors of the giant Scavver attacks, correct?
Yes. Certainly making the rounds amongst my brothers here in the guild.
We wanted your advice on the best way to take out larger than normal creatures, since you have experience with taking out space whales.
Yes. And, speaking of the rumors, many of my friends not so convinced about a giant Scavver. Doesn't pass the smell test, if you get my meaning. Many of them think it more likely to be a rogue bull Kindori. But sure, if you want to know about hunting techniques, if you're gonna go hunting it, do you just want kind of the basic tactics that we use?
That would be nice.
And the equipment that you use as well.
Hi. Well, barbed harpoons are generally favored, attached by rope so that we can, hang on to the Kindori when they're in pain and trying to flee. Oftentimes we fire them from medium or heavy ballista, but a light ballista will do in a pinch too if the ship's got them. Hand thrown can be useful as well, but those are usually thrown from smaller ships, small boats that trying to think of what the best phrase for that would be. From small ships that accompany the big ones.
Right. So you kind of work around in tandem.
Yes. Try to keep it from going too far, and although it's dangerous work, they've been known to use the tail slaps to smash some of the smaller ships. If we're going for a really big one, we definitely don't use the small boats, and stick with the big ones and the heavier weapons. It's much safer.
That might be a problem, since the only ships we're going to have for this, since we're escorting a ship through where this giant Scavver is supposedly supposed to be. We have a Wasp, and the other one's a trading, and the other ship is a trading ship, apparently.
No. When I say small ships, I mean flitter size or wreck boat size, smaller than that Wasp.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yes. But galleons and squid ships, those tend to be the favored whalers. Sometimes tradesmen are used. I don't know of any wasps, but mainly just because they lack the cargo holds of the other ships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, unlike you, we don't need to bring this thing back. We just need to kill it. If it indeed is a creature.
I wouldn't want to let good meat go to waste now, would you?
No. I mean, we will try towing it.
Yeah, if that's an option.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if this is a gigantic Scavver and not a Kindori, we'd obviously have to get it tested to make sure it's not poisonous. But we obviously don't sell large space creatures. Would you be potentially interested in taking the carcass off our hands if we did hunt one?
Oh, I mean, yeah. If the meat's edible, there's other things that that can be gained from Scavver, from Scavers. So, I think so. I wouldn't be able to give you a price until you brought it in, though.
Yeah, obviously. But I mean, I'm thinking you're set up for this sort of thing. We're just trying to protect the people at Brow.
Yeah.
Could be mutually beneficial.
Aye, yes, indeed. I'm just kind of like thinking if there's anything else that he might want to mention about whaling.
You said there's harpoons that you can load into the ballistas?
Aye. It's to keep them from coming loose upon hitting. Generally, the ballista bolts can be fitted with barbed harpoon heads fairly easily.
How expensive would these harpoon heads be?
Oh, no more than regular ballista bolt prices.
We might want to buy a few of those just in case.
If we buy some of these and find that we don't need them later, would you be interested in buying them off of us?
Sure.
Or perhaps would we be able to buy some from you with a sort of return fee deduction?
Well, we don't typically sell such like to freelancers.
Right. Is there anyone you could recommend we go to buy some then?
Just about anyone who sells weaponry on Brawl can provide you with that.
Okay.
Who do you tend to buy your harpoons from?
Make me go look up the names of the shops here now.
You still haven't given us the name of the captain on the Royal Brown Navy ship.
Oh, I forgot to look that up. All right, let me see. He tells you that he tends to buy his from. He tells you that he tends to buy them from Who's Ballista and Catapults. They sell ballista bolts and things of that nature. He tells you that occasionally ships will go out with catapults as well and try to stun the Kindori, but that's not common. Barbed harpoons are definitely favored.
Right. So what do the people that try and stun the Kindori, what do they use?
Just standard ballista. I mean, catapults.
Yeah. But do they use any sort of special load?
No.
Just like a grape shot?
No. Just the big heavy stones, because grape shot, he tells you, would not really do much to the thick hide of a Kindori.
Right. So it's just about hitting them with a lot of damage.
Yeah. Yeah, and focusing on the head, try to like knock them out.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for your advice.
Aye. If there's anything else we could do for you, we'd be more than happy to assist you in some way.
Well, I can't think of anything right now. If we have if we have trouble towing it back here, perhaps we could leave a marker and get you to bring it back. But I think, unless it's so big that it takes us over the limit of our spelljamming helm, I think we should be able to tow it back in.
Aye, Wasp should have no trouble getting something the size of a Kandori back here.
Mhm.
I do recommend you invest in some heavy line and at least a good 150 feet in length. Couple of those, just to be sure. You wouldn't want one of those to break, and you don't want to run out of line before, while the beastie's trying to get away from you.
Yeah.
Good point.
Thank you very much.
Aye, no problem. So you can get the rope, standard price. It would just be, a bit heavier, thicker, stronger, and like the cost of 3 50-foot lengths. Let me actually look that up, and I'll get you a specific price for that. All right, so if you want 150 feet of rope, that would be about 6 gold pieces for a big, thick, strong 150-foot length of line. And you can tie that, attach it to ballista bolts. The harpoons tend to have like rings at the back, and this rope would have a cap at the end with a ring that can be attached to the line.
Did that hold it on tightly?
Yeah, it's designed for that kind of thing. But keep in mind that when you engage in ship-to-ship combat, you have to use that at close range. So the creature has to be in the same hex as you on the tackle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously, if it's not dead, it'll be
pulling us around.
Yeah, I
won't
can't
be
remember the towing rules, but it would basically be us going one way against the Scavver, if it is a Scavver, going the other way.
And that's assuming that it's actually trying to run.
Yeah. Yeah, it might try and ram us in the hull.
Yeah.
That seems to be its preferred way of doing things.
Well, it might, if this turns out to be something else, it'll give us a chance to pull us closer to the enemy ship, so we can board it.
Something
and
you
kill
didn't
them.
ask about is what do you do if the creature tries to ram the said ship?
You duck, dodge, dive, dip, dodge.
Yeah, he did say to try and use their tail slaps.
Yeah.
So,
But they have been known to ram. But I mean, it's basically the same thing to a certain extent. It's just hope that you don't capsize.
mm.
Capsizing would be bad.
Yeah, not quite as bad as
Getting your
in an
keel
actual sea.
broken- Getting your keel broken is like a death sentence.
Yeah. I mean, as long as your helm is
Yeah.
still active, you could always attach it to a piece of flotsam and just sit on it. But
Yeah. We could jury rig something and bring the ship back, but once the keel's broken, you're kind of at the mercy of the thing eating us all.
Is there equivalent of like armor plating we could like slap on?
There is,
there is, but you can't just
Expensive.
slap it on.
yeah. There is. You kind of have to. The sort of work we had done on the ship, you'd have to have that done.
Yeah.
It's called barding, I believe.
No, it's just hull plating.
Hull
I believe,
plating.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could do that.
And
It does affect the movement, if I recall correctly.
Maneuverability class, I believe.
Mm.
What's our maneuverability class right now?
D.
That's like the low one. Is that low or high?
He's the lowest.
Well, it's D and E are very similar. so it's not that big of a change to go from D to E. There are some effects like in terms of saving throw modifiers for the ship, initiative modifiers, I think, stuff like that. I'd have to look up the exact chart, but it does take a lot of time to put armor plating on, and it's expensive.
We don't have that kind of time, do we?
And you may not have that kind of money either.
No.
I think I looked at before, and I think it's prohibitively expensive for us at this moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you would want to do that. I mean, if you were going to consider that, you would want that on a ship that is going to be your long-term campaign ship kind of thing.
This is not our long-term campaign ship.
No, it's not really designed for, traveling between spheres and actually, fighting pirates and stuff like that too much. I mean, it's designed for fighting pirates, but it's...
You want if for a campaign ship, we want something like a galleon or something around that size.
something that you've got space on board where you would want to live for extended periods of time. Yeah.
Like a month.
What we might want to do in the future is get a larger ship with a smaller ship that we can use as a landing vehicle.
Yep, that would work.
Not necessarily a battle dolphin.
Why is there so much hate against that thing?
Have you seen the stairs? Do you want to spend half your life going up and down stairs?
Oh, it's good
Exercise?
exercise, though.
It's freaking, the design is bad, as all I have to say with that. The ship design is bad.
Actually, I think it's pretty good. Other than like that empty space in the tail, I mean.
You can hand wave a lot of that away. Say that the decks are actually larger than that, or something like that. I mean, it's just go with the flow kind of thing. But that's neither here nor there. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to do during the day while the rest of the party was waiting for nighttime?
Procure some of those ballista bolts.
Okay.
The harpoon kind?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be basically just the standard price. Let me see if I wrote down what that was.
Don't forget about the line, too.
Well, yeah, it's 6 gold pieces per rope.
Yep, got that.
The warriors want me to buy them caltrops.
We only have the one ballista, right? So only
Yeah.
need one rope.
How much will caltrops
Well,
be?
you might want multiple ropes just to be on the safe side, because for one thing,
I got 3, so.
I mean, you fire
free.
once with one line, you could fire a second line, and if necessary, fire a third one. I mean, to a certain extent, you might want multiple ropes. I'm not saying how many you might want. That's up to you guys.
Well, we're also talking about, this isn't normal rope. This is specialized rope.
Well, yeah, but you could still use it for other purposes, too, and it's going to be useful for, boarding actions, towing, all kinds of things like that.
Yeah, we should definitely get multiple lines.
Should we buy life preservers?
You're not in water.
They're being sold by a captain. I don't know how to pronounce it. Gyud. Gyud. I'm not gonna be able to do that. Gyud.
Oh, was that one of the rumors?
No,
He's
that's
a shop on Brawl.
yeah.
Right. Is it something that makes air? Because your big problem if you go overboard is that you take a small air envelope with you. You eventually run out of air.
So, Captain Gyud, in addition to selling useful stuff, also sells worthless stuff that is for tourists.
Oh,
Right.
I see. I didn't read that part.
Well, I
mean,
just wondered.
life preservers can be useful if your ship can land in water.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Our
Which
ship
your ship
cannot
can't.
land in water.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a whole lot that you'd get out of a life preserver in space. If you want,
Because you already float in the cold vastness of space.
yeah, and you can essentially swim through it, and you're not going to drown unless you actually run out of air. So,
Ooh, you're selling that rope cheap.
Am I? Is there?
No, it was fine. Never mind.
Oh, see now, no. Now you made me go look.
No!
Now you get me. Nope. Too late. You said something. Now I have to go look.
This is why you
Um,
don't question things.
That's what happens when I look through the list.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's your fault.
yeah.
You don't question this shit. Then he makes changes and it becomes prohibitively expensive.
Let's see. Oh wow. Wow, that is
So a little more than like what, 15 gold or whatever.
Oh,
we were
okay.
paying?
That's because it's the nautical rope. I was just basing it on the basic. Okay, yeah. And actually, this is actually good because you can buy it in lengths up to 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet would let you. Would that? No, that would not let. That would still be single hex. Yeah, that would still be all single hex. Wow, that is pretty heavy too. So yeah, 15 gold pieces for the average thickness per 50 feet is what I'd say.
Now, that's nautical rope. If you look right below it where it says rope standard.
Yeah, that's the standard rope that is in player's handbook. That's up to 1 inch thick.
Yeah. Would that be the stuff that we would be shooting? Or no, I guess.
You
No,
want
you
the
want
nautical rope.
nautical.
Yeah,
you
want the
want the
nautical rope.
nautical.
All right.
I mean, it's 15 gold pieces per 50 feet. It's not too bad.
Oh, we're getting the average? Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless you want the thicker.
It's up to you guys.
Or you can also go for the thinner stuff.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's if we catch something with line and it's trying to get away, it's that creature versus how strong the rope is.
All right, we got the thick rope then.
Is it like a saving throw, basically? A better saving throw rope?
Yeah, in game terms, I'm thinking it's going to be maybe something like a bend bars roll.
Well,
or a saving throw.
Yeah, I would make the rope make a saving throw, and I would give I would say +1 saving throw for the average and +3 for the thick. Let me make a note of that. So yeah, it's much less likely to split. With the thicker stuff.
Mm.
All right, so let me just make a note. All right. Anything else you guys wanted to get? I was gonna say that let me double check to see if they have a price for harpoons in here. Otherwise, I would just use the prices for ballista bolts. I'm not seeing anything right now. So 5 silver pieces for the harpoon bolts, essentially.
How many do we want?
5? I don't know. Because we got to attach it to the rope, so they're no good without the rope. You're not going to need many.
Do they break?
They
well,
may, but they're only 5 silver pieces.
Yeah, so I said like 5.
Well,
they might break or we might lose them. They will take up space, but they will be useful against other space creatures.
I'd say about 20 at least.
20.
But we haven't got like 20 lots of rope though.
Yeah.
We don't need that, but if we lose one, or if one breaks, we can replace it without having to go back.
Okay, I actually did think about the life preservers. To a certain extent, they could be useful. If you attach a rope to them, throw it out to someone, you can haul it back in. So it's much easier to grab the life preserver than than just the end of the rope. But that's up to you guys.
Yeah, once you get inside it, you won't drop it so easily.
What is the life preserver? Like a giant ring or something?
Yeah,
in this game.
And it would be a flotation device. It would be useful on in water. But just the fact that it's a ring that's much larger and easier to grab, and you'd attach a rope to it, so you can throw it out to someone who's gone overboard and pull them back in fairly easily.
You just get Yeldin to shoot them with an arrow. And it stands still.
Yeah, let's possibly kill them to bring them back into the ship, and injure, possibly rip their
he's called
flesh apart
Sharp
with
Eye.
their...
He's got an ace of a target. He won't miss.
Right, he might not miss and instead hit their eye.
Yeah.
Hey, compromise, Leva. Got 10 of them.
As long as nobody sleepwalks and has a dream that they ate a giant donut, we'd be okay.
Plus, they could be used as regular ballistas. I mean, they would work just as well as a ballista bolt, right?
Yeah,
not quite as effectively, but
I wouldn't want to be scared by one.
Right. Well, I mean, they would be similarly effective against creatures. They would not be as effective against other ships.
Yeah. I also wonder how good they'd be in hand-to-hand combat, because you can use regular ballista bolts as spears, if I recall correctly.
I would just use the harpoon stats.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'd just function as regular harpoons in hand-to-hand combat, and they could be thrown as regular harpoons too.
That's true. That's true. So, yeah, I suppose if it got near, we could fire one from the ballista, and we could have people stationed on the front deck to throw them by hand. Plus our squad of archers, and we've got our crossbows. We can give this thing a broadside of various sticky things. And we've got our finger waggler team. So sounds like we've got things covered.
That's pretty much just leather at the moment.
Did you want to check out Greek fire or something like that, or perhaps some sort of gnomish grenades?
We could do. I mean, I hear that Greek fire is quite dangerous.
You could check the shops for some oil of fiery burning, but it would probably be rather expensive.
Yeah. Let's check with Greek fire. I think it's probably worth us checking how expensive the Greek fire is, because we could use that against a ship as well. If this thing turns out to be a ship and not a gigantic creature.
Well, standard Greek fire. I mean, you can buy standard vials of Greek fire.
Is there any other sort of alchemical stuff?
Not really. I mean, you could attempt to get something that, an explosive device that is a mixture of Greek fire and smoke powder. Be a lot cheaper than oil of fiery burning, but it wouldn't be as good.
Yeah, because oil of fiery burning is basically a fireball.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what we did to those poor cave fishes.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
but
I guess it doesn't hurt to check. Doesn't hurt to check.
So the Greek fire, its vials are a lot larger than vials of lamp oil. They weigh 2 pounds, and they would cost. Let me see what Brawl has.
Don't accidentally smash one falling down. Imagine that with Ember.
Do scrolls cost a lot of money?
Spell scrolls. I mean, more for higher level spells, and they're not cheap, but
Like 100 guilds starting off at level 1, maybe.
probably more than that, because they have special inks that require expensive and rare ingredients and stuff like that.
No, I didn't know if it'd be worth buying Leva a fireball spell or something.
Greek Fire vials would go for I'd say 20 gold pieces.
Okay.
Fireball is a 3rd level spell, right?
Yeah.
The base one anyways?
Let me
Okay.
see what the stats are for Greek Fire Oil. Huh. Doesn't actually say. Me look. Alright, well, I mean, if you want to get some, I can look up what the effects of flaming oil would be. If you wanted to try to get an explosive bomb that's a mixture of smoke powder and Greek fire, you're probably looking at something between 50 and 100 gold.
Mm.
To be honest, it sounds like the Greek Fire smoke bomb thing is like a freaking grenade, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, they're a little bit more dangerous because having Greek fire means that there's a chance that they could explode in your pack or something like that.
I think if we go for the Greek fire, we're going to have to do something like pack it in a bucket of sand to stop it getting bashed about, and then if we get rammed or anything, there's going to be a chance that it gets knocked about, which could cause us problems. So if we get this stuff, we're probably going to have to use it, as our first or second attack.
A lot of it will depend on where you store it and like where hits indicate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, because if we want to use it quickly, it'd probably be on a bucket of sand on the top of deck, because... And not to mention, we'd have to get into like one in the same hex with it in order to actually use it, I think.
If it is a pirate ship, then I would be kind of opposed to burning it. Setting it on fire.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you could always try to put the fires out afterwards. And, I mean, they're going to be trying to put out the fires themselves, too.
I suppose that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it does 2d6 damage on a direct hit, 1d6 damage if it's almost a direct hit, and 1 to 3 points of damage in a 3-foot radius.
All right. Are we buying any of these guys?
How much are they?
20
Braxon.
gold.
20 gold for Greek Fire, a vial of Greek Fire.
Braxon, Ockar, since you're
It's up
with
to
us
you guys.
for the shopping spree.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything else to add on to that.
Do you think we should go ahead and get these?
That would be a smart idea. Get something to hold the Greek fire in so it doesn't explode on us, that kind of stuff.
How many should we get?
How much is each thing of Greek fire?
20 gold piece each.
I guess getting 5 won't hurt.
Who's paying for it is also another question.
Now, keep in mind also, I mean, that's the basic Greek fire. If you wanted to get something like a grenade or something like that, I would at least bump up the damage to 3d6, and it would have a much larger radius.
How much are grenades?
But what would the
Well,
price
I mean,
be?
like the smoke powder Greek fire thing would be somewhere between 50 and 100. You'd have to go talk to someone and get it like custom made.
Big boom. Might be worth getting just one at least.
I could afford 3 of those if it's 100.
Yeah, but keep in mind that they're also similarly fragile and dangerous. So
Yeah.
Is there a way to buy a container to hold it in, like something filled with sand or something?
oh, you
Just-
get a bucket of sand. I wouldn't even charge you anything for that. That's I mean,
We get 3 buckets of sand and put 3 of those special Greek fire grenades in it, and they'll be relatively safe.
I was going to get a chest and have ask if Braxon could install it to the ship and fill it up with sand to put all this stuff in.
That's an idea.
And maybe just have the bucket
Where-
of sand to transport the stuff to the ship.
That way it would have a lid.
Yeah, that's a good idea because if we get a gravity shift, that would stop things dropping out of the buckets.
True.
Um,
We just use the bucket to transport the items from the shop to the ship.
and around on the ship, like if you're getting ready to throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to have a cooler attached to the side of the ship there, or on the deck, and fill it up with sand and this boom stuff.
Basically, you're getting a chest and bolting it literally to the deck of the ship so it doesn't move.
Mm-hmm.
Would we put it on the main deck?
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, so it's easily accessible, so you don't have to run down below decks to grab one and then run above decks for forage.
I was
Right.
thinking near where you have
You
those
can just
crossbows.
go, run to the chest, open it, grab one out and run over and throw it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's an
let's get
idea.
5 of these Greek fires. I'm just going to go ahead and do that.
What about any grenades? I mean,
Well, we gotta go talk to somebody first.
okay. So you're gonna get those and maybe some of the other things. Okay.
Well, I'm going to get some grenades anyway. Even if everybody else doesn't want them, Higgimus wants them.
Ockar wants some.
I figured Higgimus would love anything that goes bang.
Okay. A large chest to store all this in. The sand would essentially be free. That's not gonna charge you anything for that. It'd be 4 gold for the large chest. Probably an extra silver piece for additional reinforcement, nails, pegs, things to get it attached to the ship.
Is there any additional price to labeling the chest as danger explosives? Do not throw
Break
fire
glass
on.
in emergency. Wait, not literally.
Yeah, unfortunately, that would cost another 100 gold pieces. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, you can just get some paint and paint a sign on there. I'm not going to charge you for that.
Danger explosives. Do not touch unless combat needed.
Not going to nickel and dime you guys. That seems silly.
If we do get boarded, I don't know if we want to let the boarders know that chest contains explosives. Mind you, if we get boarded, we'd probably be throwing it all at them.
Well, I don't know. Would you want to throw these at
The
You know,
thing
on
is,
your own
no,
ship?
By the time we get boarded, theoretically they should all be gone.
Is
Yeah.
there a way to launch these with the ballista?
not with the ballista? If you had a catapult, yes.
No, if we had a catapult, we could get Greek fire shot by the catapult, basically.
How about
and if you had a staff sling.
we've got peltists that use slings. Could they launch these?
How much would
You'd
it be
need a
to
staff
buy a
sling.
staff sling?
Staff slings are super cheap. But you'd
Okay,
be
we
taking
might want to get one of
non-proficiency
those
penalty.
just for the purpose of throwing these.
Staff slings would be 3 silver pieces.
How much were the grenades? Or did we get there yet?
You haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, I'll buy a staff sling. just for the express purpose of throwing these. So, and I have the money for it. So
You could keep the staff sling with the chest.
yeah, so I'm just going to buy the staff sling and keep it with the chest.
I'll be right back.
I think the word you're looking for is hoopak.
Oh.